how much money did you make by yourself last month as a loan signing agent?
11,800.
And Davy, how much money did you make last month by yourself as a loan signing agent?
$9,000.
You guys made $20,000 as a couple. Another episode of On the Road with the Loan Signing System. Here with signing agent Eric and signing agent Taffy, the very first loan signing agent couple we're going to interview on these. How are you both doing today?
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much for taking time. It is a Sunday, so you guys are taking time out of your day to help inspire other people. So thank you so much. So guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I am excited. This is the first loan signing agent couple. You're both in the business. Can you tell me this answer, Eric? How much money did you make by yourself last month as a loan signing agent?
11,800.
And Davy, how much money did you make last month by yourself as a loan signing agent?
$9,000.
You guys made $20,000 as a couple.
Yes.
Nice.
When I say that, Eric, answer this question. When I say you made $20,000 as a couple, what feelings comes to your mind? What do you feel when I say that to you?
Well, it's kind of surreal. You know, it's when I think back how hard I had to work and how many hours I had to put in and not even get near that, I can't tell you how long I'd have to work to get to that amount. And it's just insane. And it's also liberating.
Oh, good word. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Taffy, if I ask you the same question, when I say you guys made $20,000 last month, what feelings do you get when I say that out loud?
It's exciting to know that we can do that as a couple, considering where we started. It's like, oh my gosh, we did that in 1 month, where it usually would take us, 5-7 months, to do that, working for somebody else, if not even longer.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm so excited to share your story. But real quick, some of you might recognize Taffy from an On the Road that I did about 1.5 years ago with her, where she was a 6-figure signing agent. She made $100,000 in 2019. Can you tell everybody how much money you made? Only you, not Eric. How much money did you make in 2020?
$135,000.
$135,000. These are back-to-back 6-figure years. Like when I say that again, like what do you say to yourself?
Because when I looked at that number, when it became September last year, I had hit 100,000. I'm like, wait a minute, are you kidding me? I still have 3 months to go. Oh my gosh, I was so excited.
And then Eric, how much money did you make last year as a loan signing agent?
81,000. Yep.
81,000. So in 2020, as a couple, you made over $200,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Is somebody tell me how it feels? Just one of you. So how does that feel when you say that?
You have to pinch yourself because you don't even believe that that's what really happened. And then you get those 1099s and you're going, oh my gosh, that's our life now.
I mean, $200,000 as a signing agent couple. I hope this inspires other couples. And that is the purpose of today's interview is, inspiring other couples of what's possible if your spouse joins the business. Taffy started off in this industry by herself. If you guys remember her journey, her why is not only her daughters, but her husband. And she talked about in her interview how her husband was just, walking through life, just kind of blindly waking up, going to work, going to bed, waking up, going to work, going to bed. And how Taffy told on that interview, how she had to get her husband out of that situation. So, Eric, let's kind of talk about that, man. Let's take it back from the beginning because you guys are making $200,000. I know this year for 2021, you're on pace for $250,000. So let's take everybody back to the beginning, man. Of what it's like to be before making $250,000 a year. 200,000 last year. So, Eric, take us back to that job that Taffy talked about in her first interview, if you don't mind, and take it away.
Well, Mark, I've been in printing for 40 years. And, this last job, besides working 10, 12-hour days, you have your anywhere from half hour to an hour commute each way, depending on traffic. So now you're up to a 11, 12-hour day or a 14-hour day. And, you put your family on hold because you're working till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night because you have deadlines to make. And the most frustrating thing, I think, and the thing that just tears at your soul is the fact that their attitude is you should be happy that you have a job.
Mm.
So don't ask for more money. We're not going to give you any more money because you should be happy that you have a job. And that's the part that really tears at you, because you go in, you care about what you do, you put your heart and soul into it. And then for them to have that attitude of like, well, you get a paycheck, be happy you have a job.
Oh, man.
And it's a shame because, you know, when you work with people that you like and you've worked with them for years, maybe 15, 20 years, it's like a family. But beyond that, the people that run the company and stuff like that, they just don't care for you. And they could care less. They don't have any interest in you or your family or what goes on in your life. And they really don't care about the sacrifices that you make, you know?
You know, speaking of sacrifices, man, you said something that I thought was very relatable and frankly very impactful, at least to me, you know, because I have, as you both know, and you've met my little guy before, is I have a little boy, and you said you had to put your family on hold for 40 years. I mean, you're not the only person who's felt like because you had a job, you had to put your family. I know you said you had a work family, but then you have your family that you had to put on hold. I mean, talk through that. You know, because again, I think there's some people out there who could relate to like maybe missing some birthday parties, missing some things. But what Taffy spoke about in your other thing, I think it's almost bigger than missing birthday parties. It's almost like missing everything, because you just come home and you just go straight to bed and you go home and just go to bed. So it's like you're just almost not existent for your family. You know, how did that feel? Talk to me through that, because I thought that was a crazy sentence.
Well, you know, because of the late hours I was keeping and getting home, you know, as a family, we were eating at anywhere from 7 to 9 o'clock at night, which isn't normal for most people. My kids, and from day one, they're on a later schedule. So if they wanted to see me, they were staying up to 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night so that we could hang out and have some time together, you know. And most parents are shrieking horror thinking that young kids were staying up that late, but that was our life. That's how we got to hang out together. And then, you know, you're working like that, and you're just making enough paycheck to paycheck that you don't even get to take, you can't even afford to do vacations. You know, you can't afford to take that time off. So you want to give your kids
Take your time.
you want to give them everything that maybe you didn't have, or you want that you think that they should have. You want to give them the best. They don't know what they're missing. You know, they're happy. My kids are content. They don't ask for anything, but I want them to have so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to give that to them, while somebody else is living the high life off of the sweat off my back, that's frustrating to see how they're living, and then see how, you know, we didn't live, we didn't throw our money around. You know, my vehicle had 256,000 miles on it. My second vehicle, when I started this business, was up to about 200,000 miles before I was able to get rid of it. And this business afforded me the possibility of buying a fairly new car to work this business. And to put that much time and effort into somebody else's business and building it up for them, it just sucks the life out. It really does. If you stop and look at it and look at, you know, how much they ask you to give and what you get back in return, it's not equitable.
Yeah.
It's just not equitable.
Let me
So
just say, thank you. I mean, honestly, the emotions that you just shared, there are thousands, millions of dads, moms, parents who feel the same way, that Equitable is, you're right. The equity is just not the same. It's not fair. I agree with that, man. And here's the amazing part. Everything's changed. You made $200,000 last year. I mean, you can now give your kids the life that you know they deserve, man. So congratulations on building it. And I think what's inspiring, is you said you're 40 years in the same industry. And I think what's inspiring, Eric, is you made a decision of like, because I spent 40 years, it doesn't mean it's too late to reinvent myself. So if it's okay, speak to somebody else who also feels lost in a 40-year job career that thinks it might be too late to reinvent themselves. What would you say to that person who's watching right now who's like, Eric, I just can't see myself reinventing myself? If you want to share how old you are, young you are, mature you are, to maybe inspire someone else who's maybe going through the same thing, man.
Yeah, it's funny. You hear about people that are in dysfunctional relationships and then you say, why don't they get out? Why don't they get out? But yeah, look at yourself. Your job and you is a dysfunctional relationship. Why do you take the abuse? Why do you put up with it? Are you comfortable with the money that you're making? And maybe even though it's not enough to help you get ahead, you're still comfortable. Are you scared? Don't be scared. This opportunity has changed our lives. And you can't let fear rule your life. For one thing, this is something that you can jump into and you can start it off part-time, test the waters and get into it. And you can make a killing part-time. Okay. You can make a killing part-time. And I just, I hate paperwork, and that's what kept me out of this business. I'm not a paperwork person. I didn't think I wanted to do this job, but,
let me ask you this, and I think there might be a subset of people watching who say, I'm mature, I'm in the latter part of my work career. I tell everybody who will listen to me, this is one of the businesses where age literally doesn't matter. I mean, Sherry Stratford in our group, who's 74 years old, and so, speak to someone else who might be a little gun shy and like, I'm 60 something, are people really going to hire me? Right. Cause I think there's an idea like, cause I'm 60, someone's not going to hire me. I mean, what would you say to someone who maybe has that mindset?
Well, the good thing is that they really don't see my age. Right. The people that are hiring me, they just look at my accomplishments or my resume, my profile. And then when they do, they see that I can do the job that I say that I can do. And I just can't tell you. I mean, you said it before that this is a simple business. It's not an easy business, but a simple business. And of all the opportunities out there, and I've looked at a lot of them, and I've tried a lot of them, and I've lost a lot of money trying a lot of them. I have not lost any money with this business. Okay. Yeah. Much to Taffy's, yes. But if you work it the way that you say to work it, it will provide abundantly for you and your family. And that's what I'm finding that, 60-some, I'm 63 years old. Okay. And this is totally out of my wheelhouse. It has nothing to do with printing. And yet I enjoy it. I get to meet interesting people. I have fun with the people that I sit down with. I get to see the beautiful Colorado countryside. I cover 8 counties, and I am all over. And between the countryside, the architecture, and I just have fun with the people.
So many ancillary benefits of being a signing agent outside the money. It's like, meeting amazing people, seeing parts of the county you would never have seen before. Eric, let me just say thank you first off and foremost, man. You got really vulnerable there. And I know sharing your story will inspire others. So I just want to say thank you, because I know sometimes it's not easy to talk through some of those emotions, and you did. So I want to say thank you so much, because I want other people to see that, like, you can start this, you can come from anywhere, any background, any age, and build this business. And so thank you. So I'll make sure I say thank you, because I know it's not easy.
Well, And I thank you for providing the guidance, the mentorship, and everything, because you do take us and lead us by the hand through it. So many of these other opportunities, people just say, here, make it work. But between the group and the support and you, um, it's almost impossible to fail. If you just don't get sidetracked, focus, do what you're supposed to do, stay positive, it's repeatable, and you will make money.
Well, I can't be happier for you and Taff. I've known you guys now for years at this point. And so it's been awesome just watch your guys' journey to Taffy being in this business by herself to now, $200,000 in 2020 as a couple. And you're in Colorado. I failed to mention that in the beginning, but Taff, let's switch to you if that's okay, right? I mean, take us back to the beginning as a couple where money isn't wasn't as abundant as it is today, and I asked that question because I do think this is a great business to be in as a couple. I think that the income opportunity is great, but I want people to take you back from the beginning, right? I mean, so they can see some of the struggles you had and maybe relate to those. So kind of take us back to the pre $200,000 a year, if you remember those days, and share with people if you don't mind.
So I do. So it was more of, where you're living paycheck to paycheck. I remember I had a side business that I did because I was a homeschool mom. So I just had a part-time business and my kids would go with me and I never filled up my car. I never filled it with gas. I would only go to half a tank. And they remember that. Even today, we talk about how mom would say, I'm just going to put a few dollars in the car. And it's like, what message was I sending at that point in time? And I didn't even realize it, but that my thing was, I did just what I needed to do. I had just enough because I was the money manager. I'm still the money manager. It's easier now, but I was the money manager. So I had to make sure that the money stretched and I got all the bills paid. And when we came to our marriage, we had $30,000 in debt between us. So that means you're paying just the bare minimum on credit cards every month. And you're not getting anywhere. That's frustrating because as a money manager too, when you see that there's not enough money coming in, guess what? You start blaming the other person and it's not their fault. But that's just what and it doesn't feel good. And so you start going, we're trying different things. We're not spending lavishly, but we're just barely getting by. And that's where it was for us in the beginning.
Well, if you don't mind me, Taffy, take me kind of through the mother side of that, right? Of just barely getting by. I mean, what were some of the emotions you felt? I mean, what were some of the things that, you mentioned something crazy about, what kind of role model was I setting by only putting $3 in my tank? By the way, been there. I, just giving the cashier $4 and just hoping that takes you from where you need to go to where you need to go. So I relate. But let's see if we can get other people to relate, because I want people to see you're an everyday couple. You had the same trials and tribulations that they may be going through, and now you're no longer there. So what maybe some of the emotions you had as a parent, you struggling with the finances, obviously Eric was very vulnerable in what he felt, but I want to get your side.
But so you don't even, even as the money manager, you don't share all of the pain that you feel with, this is all that you're bringing in. This is only the money that we're making. And so you find ways to get creative about stretching food. You find ways to not even talk about money because you think it's going to upset the other person. And so you just carry that burden and you get through another month and you go, whew, we made it. So now we go to another month and you think, is there any way to cut another corner? Especially when it comes to, you have to pay the bills. You got to make sure you have a roof over your head, first and foremost. That's the biggest thing. So you make sure you pay that. So maybe you get behind in your credit, you're paying your credit cards, and then the collectors start calling. And you're like, how do you teach your kids that you don't just survive, but you need to know how to thrive? But all you know right now is that we have to survive from month to month, day to day. And now it's different.
Well, tell me, how's that feel now that it's different?
Fantastic. And they're such great kids. We have twins. It's a boy and a girl. And they've never asked for anything. These kids have been like, we just go with the flow. And now they'll come and they'll say, oh, I need a program for something. And you'll be like, well, how much does it cost? And Mark, they're talking about $25. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I equate everything to a signing. One signing is what I tell them, like, it doesn't cost me a signing. Go get it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the running joke in our house. If we go out to dinner or something like that, and the bill, it's not even a signing. It's only 2 signings. You know, she'll shake her head at me now because I'll hem and haw about something, or I still want to use coupons when I go food shopping or something, and she's like, "Why? You got it. Just go do it." You know.
But that was our life.
Yeah.
You know, you're clipping coupons, you're making sure that things, and you're making sure you still have money left over, even though you're living paycheck to paycheck, and it's only a little bit to start with. That's what it feels like.
And you know, the other thing is, I think when you're in that situation, you make bad decisions, not intentionally.
Wow.
You make bad decisions out of hope, because you're hoping that this decision, this next little business that somebody's advertising or whatever, is going to help you get out of your current situation. And you're not dealing from a position of strength. And you always want to be operating from a position of strength. If not, I think you'll make more bad decisions carelessly or recklessly because you're trying to get out of a bad situation, and you wind up digging yourself in deeper. Once again, this opportunity is not a bad decision.
Yeah.
This opportunity has delivered abundantly for our household.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't get over how happy I'm for you two. I mean, for the whole family. I've met the entire family. So I love it. You know, I just want to say congratulations. What I will say is, everybody has the same course and everybody has the same results. You two implement, you work harder. Your work ethic is second to none. I can't take any credit for your amazingness. I can't take any credit for the way you have built your business from a standpoint of, the way you guys care about the customer, you care about the signing experience. And that's the Wagners for you. And so I want to make sure I'm giving you guys your due of, like, you guys are amazing business owners. You guys found the vehicle that can bring that out of you. But I'm proud of both of you. Very, very proud.
And we are just so grateful to have met you. Seriously, right. Because all it takes is one person to give hope and encouragement, but to truly believe in you and say, you can do this. But that's what so many people are missing. Somebody who is genuine, who really cares about you. Because I know when I've written you, you've responded right away. And I so have appreciated that, because I didn't feel like I got left out there on my own to toe the line without having somebody I could go back to and say, hey, what about this? Please tell me what I'm doing wrong, or tell me, what did I miss, so that I can make it better. So we are very grateful for you.
You're very, very welcome. Let's keep inspiring, because it's crazy. You went from cutting coupons to literally saying, babe, we don't got to do that anymore. Mm-hmm. So let's take people through that journey on the next part of this conversation. And again, thank you both for being so vulnerable, because I know it's just going to help people get inspired and motivate them that they can do it. Because I want to motivate other couples. This is a couples on the road where I want other people to see you two and be like, man, if Taffy and Eric can do it, me and my spouse can do it. So, let's kind of take it from the beginning. What moment, Taffy, was kind of the aha moment? Because I asked you because you were the one who originally started the business. What was your aha moment of like, you know what, babe, you got to get in the business? Because I know there's some people, we have thousands of LSS students, and the spouses are not all the spouses are in the business. So what was your moment of like, babe, this is it. This is a time to kind of maybe inspire someone else?
So when I saw where, okay, like he said, he had done some businesses, but he had this business that had failed. And Eric actually went back to work for somebody else. And I was like, and the toxic job had called him saying, can you come back? And I was like, that's it right there. We're not doing that. We're not repeating that pattern. I'm not going to watch you come home every night, be this, start slowly getting into a depression, sitting on my couch, not doing anything, and just start the whole process again. I was like, that's not healthy for us. So as much as I know that he was not a paperwork person, that moment I said, you're going to have to do this.
Well, you said something I thought was very powerful. And you said, this is not healthy for us. Right. And I think when you say us, I mean your family, I mean your marriage, I think your relationship is my guess. Yes. And I think it's a powerful moment of like really taking your life into a decision, that you are. And I think what Eric just said, which was awesome in the last segment, was, you said that from power of strength, right? You had a 6-figure business and you were able to make the right decision of like, look, babe, I just made 6 figures last year. We can do this. If I can do this, you can do this,
Absolutely. And the thing too for me was the kids are watching us. So they were watching him in the process of being miserable, but it also, kids do what they see versus watch what you say. They listen to you, but they're going to do what they see. And so they were watching him in that process. And I was like, we have to do something different so that they will make better decisions right out the gate.
Right.
When they're in a situation that may be like that.
I think I want to kind of take a deeper thought process with you is, you knew that you built this business, right? And so to me, and I'm asking, I guess not telling, is, did you know your husband could build this business?
Absolutely. If with the training and with me being there to help him and guide him and say, okay, you know what? Because you just came out of a bad situation where they didn't give you raises. They didn't respect you when you had bereavement time.
Yeah, my parents died about 30 days apart. No bereavement time. They wanted me to use my vacation pay. They resented the fact that I had built up vacation time and I couldn't afford to use it because I couldn't afford to go anywhere. So instead of giving me bereavement pay like they should have, they made me use my vacation time.
And that really made me mad. I said, okay, so that was another reason. I was like, that's it. So now I know if you do this the way that Mark has set it out, you can make 6 figures because I have. And you deserve to make that. You deserve the freedom because you're worthy. See, many times when we're working for other people, we don't think we're worthy because we give it all to them. We build their dreams, but our dreams go by the wayside. And I'm like, this is your opportunity to build your dream and get your time back.
I hope this inspires other people, because what I heard, Taff, is like, if I could do it, I know my spouse could do it. And too often I see some LSS students who don't inspire their spouses of what you inspired Eric of. It's like, look, babe, I'm proof I could build this business like you can too. Because I think, being a couple as a spouse, as LSAs isn't for everybody. But I think a lot of people don't give it the opportunity that you should. And I think it starts with whoever's the current LSA, who's ever doing well, empowering the other of like, I've obviously built this business. There's zero reason why you can't build this business, and we can build this empire together.
Yes. And you've already proven it, and you repeat it. And so you showed them it's duplicatable,
right?
Because you've done it month after month after month.
And then I think, go on.
There's been days where I may get up and might not have a job, but before the day is over, I've got 4 signings.
That's right.
He's lived that. He's seen it.
Right.
It's happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I think is cool is, and I think you said something else. It's like the cool part about being a couple spouse or bringing somebody into the business, a spouse into the business, is you have like literally a live-in mentor. you literally have a real flesh live-in accountability partner, someone you can do mock signings with, someone you can talk about marketing strategies with, someone you can like talk through if the day, like, oh, I just got rejected. Oh, it's okay. Like there's someone there to console you during some of the valleys of owning a business. And so many of our students aren't bringing their spouses in. And it's like, look, you had them take the course, but then you're like, I can answer any holes that you have. Like you can't ask for a better combo to get where you want to go.
Well, plus the fact that you can role play, especially, new documents and stuff like that, and how you present and everything else. And if I'm saying something wrong, she would tell me, or say it this way instead. And the same holds true that if I can't wrap my brain around something, she knows my learning style. She'll explain it in a way that even I, the simple person that I am, can understand it. So you're there to support each other.
Yeah.
And there can be a little healthy competition there,
which is so funny.
No, I will never be worthy. I will never be.
No, but I didn't even think about that, right? It's a healthy competition. But the best part is the family wins,
That's right.
Like everybody wins. And so I
Right.
didn't even think about that. Like the healthy competition between spouses, ultimately the family wins. And it's another great point, because I was going to segue into the question, would you recommend other couples maybe think about both of them becoming loan signing agents?
Absolutely, without hesitation. Because as he's talking about the healthy competition, Mark, so we have a client that we share, and he'll go, "Oh, I didn't get the job," and I go, "I did."
I love it.
Well, what's so nice about it is, guess what? The money stayed in our household.
Right.
That's what we love. It doesn't matter who gets it, but it was in our household. And so, but it also encourages them. Guess what? You get the next job, or you make sure your app is ready and you're ready to go get them. Or he'll say, "I have 5 jobs today. You're slacking," and I'm like, "But I deserve the rest."
I love it. I love it. Like I said, I wanted to bring you guys on to inspire other couples specifically of what's possible as a power couple signing agent couple, because you guys are a power signing agent couple doing $250,000. Last year did 200 and some $1,000. Like, that's insane. And anyway, if you guys see yourselves as a signing agent couple, do you think any couple could build a business like yours?
Oh yeah. One, at my age, as you've been pointing out multiple times, thank you, Mark.
I was only doing that to inspire, Eric. That is all.
To reinvent yourself, as you said, to take a totally hard right turn into a different career at this age, and then to be able to do it side by side with my best friend, let alone my spouse. All right. And that's priceless.
Yeah.
Okay. And the support that we give each other, she could have an 8 o'clock signing, a 9 and a 10 or something like that, but then docs have to be turned in.
Yes.
All right. So guess who will run the docs?
That's awesome.
I'll go drop them off. All right. And then maybe I'll be the one that takes buntinis or bagels or whatever to those people. She can, if I'm on the other side of town and my docs come through and she's got an opening,
I'll print the docs and I'll go meet him on the other side of town, so he doesn't lose time coming back home to get the documents. And I've done that. I've gone to take him docs on my way to my signing, because it's around it's in the neighborhood.
This is so awesome. I didn't even think about it. Like, you almost have a built-in assistant, right? Like, and again, because the money's staying in the family. It's like, I don't want to call it you're an assistant, but my point is you almost have a built-in, an assistant, a team, someone on the team, like an employee, for lack of a better word. I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but it's awesome. I never thought about that. You could be at a signing, docs can come in like, "Oh my gosh, I don't have the time to print. Oh my gosh, can you run and get me this?" And it's really a team effort. I love the idea, which I never thought about, is like, you're working late at night and you know what, babe, sleep in, I'll drop off docs. Or maybe you have an 8 o'clock appointment and you don't have time to drop off docs. So one of you guys drop off docs and allows the other person to do an 8 a.m. signing.
Well, and this happens probably once a week.
Yeah.
He'll have a late night signing. He'll be at a 7 o'clock signing. That's an hour away. He'll have 4 signings the next day and all the docs are in. And he'll go, "Oh, I'll just print them when I come back." And I'm like, "Yeah, right. You're going to sleep." And I'll get all the documents printed before he even gets to the signing. And I'll text him and say, "All your docs are printed. They're ready. All you got to do is prep and go the next morning."
I hope everyone's getting inspired by this. Like, there's so many ancillary benefits of being a couple that's a signing agent that I never really put together until this conversation. It's like, it's the true team sport.
It is.
Yeah.
And how many LSAs would love to have someone just print docs or drop off docs in the morning or drop off gratitude? And the reason that you're a power signing agent couple is because it's for the benefit of the greater good.
That's right.
It's unbelievable. And even if you had an employee, here's the best part. Like, even if you had an assistant, they're never going to work as hard as you, because it's never their business.
That's right.
But because it's truly a family business, Eric's going to work as hard as you and vice versa. And that's why it's even better than having an employee or an assistant, because you both have a truly vested interest in the growth of the company and the relationship building aspect of this business. I hope people are getting inspired.
And Mark, even when he first came on, what happened is I was getting toner and paper. And so I was ordering the toner, and then Eric started just going and picking up paper. And so once a week now, he'll just go pick up paper on his way to dropping off docs. And so that we have cases of paper on the shelf. And if I'm dropping off docs, I'll pick up folders if I need to. But we always make sure we have more than enough supplies so that we're never down.
Mm-hmm. It's a team.
So that no matter who's running, whoever has to do closings, guess what? We've always gotten more than enough paper and toner.
It's just really the team sport. I never thought about it. Before we hit action on this video, you guys were telling me how another ancillary benefit of being a couple LSA is there's someone who really gets the ups and downs of the business. And so you have someone you can bounce your bad day off of or your good day off of that only another LSA would get excited about. Or get like, oh my God, I just bought paper for $2.99 to ring. Like, oh, get out of here.
Yes.
Only an LSA couple can really get excited about, right?
Well, when I was working at that job, she was so frustrated with it and she had it up to here that she didn't even want to hear about the day. So if I was having problems, she didn't want to hear about it because basically her attitude was, well, you're staying in that situation. That's on you. But now,
we're calling in between signings, talking about what's going on. We've actually passed each other on the road. We'll leave at different times. And we've met at the title company, not knowing I'll be there to do a closing. He's coming in to drop documents after closing.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. And in this conversation, I feel like when you guys are looking at each other and smiling at each other, like I feel just like, wow, this is a beautiful moment in business and your marriage is beautiful. I can feel it through the interview. So I had to ask, and did the marriage get better when you kind of became an LSA couple?
Yeah. I mean, it's stronger. And because now, like in the beginning, we didn't have kids or anything. And so now we have our kids, and they're 18 and stuff. And so we're able to do more for them now. We're able to do more as a family. And we don't have to think about, like we were talking about, the money aspect. Because Mark, as you know, which we talked about in our first video, when we came to conference, that was our first vacation where we never had to think about money at all.
Right.
I just said, get whatever you guys want.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
And I'm like, who is this woman?
Because I'm the one who was like, we're not spending a dime.
You don't need that. That's not a need. That's a want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, no.
And you'd be like, what did she say? We could get what?
Oh, this is the best. That's the best. I thank you guys for inspiring other couples. You can just sense that happiness you guys have just for life, not just this. I love how it went from like cutting coupons to babe, you don't need to cut those anymore. And that's an empowering feeling, right?
Yeah, it is. And even if like family members need anything, you just send it.
Yeah.
And don't even have to worry about money going to them. It's like, I don't need it back. I'm just going to give this to you. Because when you're a young couple and in a lot of marriages, people say, I need to borrow some money. And so one of the things that a lot of couples struggle with is they have to pay it back. So now you owe the family.
That's the worst.
And that's when people end up losing family members, is because they can't pay it back. And that's why relationships become strained. But we don't have that, because we just give it because we can, and we just want to bless them because they've been with us through the whole journey of our marriage.
Yes.
And so now it's like, whatever you need, if we have it, you can have it.
It's the abundant lifestyle, abundant mindset. You know what I mean? I always tell you students the best way to receive is to give, hands down, whether it's your business, personal, family, the best way to receive is to give. And I love that so much. This interview has been epic. Okay. So, just to kind of inspire people on the segue to the next topic is, how much money as a couple have you made in the first quarter of this year?
We're at $53,000.
53
already.
That's insane. I would want to see that 3 months, $53,000, everybody. That is a power loan signing agent couple. That's a power loan signing system couple. Let's go.
Because we already know we're going to beat last year's number.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. You guys are going to do $250,000. It's not even a question. Okay, cool. Well, let's get to the next thing, because as you're the first couple to be interviewed. Usually I ask you signing agents individually, give me one tip to help a signing agent build their business, but I want you guys to give me one tip to help another couple signing agent. So what's your piece of advice for a couple who's looking to do this as husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, and spouse?
I think my strongest tip would be make sure you have your own clients, because the household needs to always be able to eat and pay bills. This way, it doesn't stop. The work never stops coming in, and you don't create a struggle. Because if both of you have the same clients and only have the same clients, what if the client doesn't have any work?
Or I'll take it one step further. What happens if that client goes out of business? What happens if that one client moves? What happens if that one client shuts down? I think that is the best piece of advice you could give. So I hope everyone who's aspiring to be a loan signing agent couple to really keep your clients separate. Now, here's what I heard earlier is just because your clients, you farm your own clients, earn your own clients, doesn't mean that you can't work for each other's client. Like you said, if I can't do it, my spouse can do it. I heard you use that example earlier.
Yes.
So I want people to make sure they separate what you said here. It's not that you can't work for the other's clients. It's making sure you both have it. So you almost operate individual signing agent businesses as far as marketing and income streams. But the beautiful part is that you said, Taff, is somebody can't do a signing, you can see if your spouse is available so that money stays within the family.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And you want to be able to continue to thrive and encourage each other, because he could still be marketing when I'm out doing signings. He could be going and getting new clients. And that in itself is it's just beautiful, because as a couple, and I'm telling you, I think there's no better business as a couple, seriously, because your investment is not as big as some of these other businesses, and the return on investment comes back pretty quick in this business compared to a lot of other stuff where you just keep throwing money out the window, because that's what it seems like. You're throwing money out the window, but it's never coming back. And this is a business that will overpay you. Come on. And I don't mean by the dollar amount, but I mean, as long as you do what you're supposed to, it will pay you over and over and over and over again.
I love it. I mean, what you hit on is, I hope everyone heard is, when one's doing signing, one could be marketing, and I think Eric touched on it earlier too, is when one's working, one could be showing gratitude on the behalf of both of your clients. So even though one of those clients, quote unquote, isn't Eric's, it doesn't mean that he can't go do something that's appreciative on your behalf. So it really allows you to maximize your reach, for lack of a better word. Like, you're really able to reach everyone in your county, because when someone's not doing something and you can be doing what they're making up for because they're actually doing the signing appointment themselves. I mean, I think it's a great piece of advice.
And absolutely. And one of the things that I did too in the beginning, Mark, was I actually got permission for Eric to turn my documents in because he was not in the business, but they knew who he was when he got in the business because he had been dropping docs for me.
I love it. So you kind of almost got Eric into the business slowly but surely. It was kind of a warm entry into it, which I think could be another tip within itself, right? It's not like you need to tell your spouse to quit their job. You can kind of introduce them slowly to your current clients and create those relationships. You're like, oh, by the way, my husband finally got his notary commission. So I love that piece of advice. It's a very subtle piece of advice there, but you kind of introduced him even though he was, or when he wasn't a signing agent. And then by the time he became a signing agent, they already knew Eric's name and they knew his face. And then it's a very easy, warm entry. And like, hey, by the way, if you need any more signing appointments, I can't do it. Here's Eric.
Here's Eric. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, they call me Mr. Taffy. That's what I tell them. Just call me Mr. Taffy. That's all.
I love it. I love it. It's such a good piece of advice. Let's kind of wrap up with this. Thank you guys again so much for this interview. It's been so amazing. So, I usually ask when I'm asking a student of done this with one person is, what is something you were hesitant about before you got into the business? Let me ask you that both individually is, what was something you were hesitant about getting into the business, or what were something you were hesitant about working with your spouse in the same business? So I'll let Eric start. What was something you were maybe nervous about before you got into business? I think you loosely said paperwork. Maybe you want to dive deeper into that. So go, take the floor.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing, because I'd see all this paperwork that she would have. And I just hate paperwork. Always hated it. And especially in my old job, because a lot of it was, and I'm sure a lot of people have the same thing. You're doing reports or you're doing paperwork. Nobody's really reading them. They just have you do them for the sake of doing them. and I saw all this. I'm like, I hate paperwork. I do not want to do this. And then once I learned about the business and I got educated or enlightened about what it really entailed, I'm like, yeah, I can do this, you know?
Mhm.
And like I said, I enjoy the people,
Yeah.
and 99% of the people are happy to see me when I
Yeah.
walk in the door anyway, you know, because I'm either bringing in more money, a lower
That's
payment,
right.
or, you know, so, um, and, you know, I exude that when, if, you know, some clients allow you to call and confirm beforehand. I set the tone when I call and I talk to them. I have fun when I confirm. I have health screening questions that we have to do for COVID and some other things that I verify. And I have fun with them. I have them laughing on the phone. And then when I get out there, it's the same thing,
Love
you
it.
know? Um, so you build that rapport, you have a good time. Um, but I honestly say I detested paperwork that much that kept me out of the business. My ignorance of really the simplicity of it. I
Mm.
didn't understand it. And once I started seeing what it really entailed, I'm like, yeah, I can do this.
I love it.
So,
Let me just ask a follow-up question. And I asked this a couple of times because I want people who, have that detested, that don't like the paperwork. If you could build this business, if you can become a signing agent, if you could build a brand new career in the latter part of your work years, like, do you think anybody could do this business?
yeah, I think my biggest regret, and I have a sign up on the back that says, "Do not fear failure, be terrified of regret."
Whoa.
I regret not starting this a year earlier.
Mhm.
That I let my biases, my ignorance about what was entailed influence whether I would do it or not. And I think, maybe I had to do it. Maybe I had to start up my own business and fail and be at
Mhm.
that point where, okay, now I'm receptive, because maybe I always would have been looking at that other thing. Well, maybe I should have done that, but now I know, no, that was an expensive lesson. Okay. Very expensive lesson. Um, but now I know that this truly is a simple business, showing people where to sign and
Literally.
literally, and making sure that they sign the right name, the right date, and just giving them a brief description of the documents that they're signing.
Yeah, easy
Even with
peasy.
that, I have fun with them, and I think I've had enough people thank me for
Mhm.
being one, expedient, thorough, on time. I'm always early, okay?
Mhm.
Because I think if you're on time, you're late.
Oh, I love
Um,
it.
I try to get to everything 15 minutes early. And if I talk to them on the phone, I even ask, hey, I allow for traffic. Is it okay if I don't hit any, if I'm there 15 minutes early? Oh, sure. And at that point, some of them might say, hey, you can get here a half hour early. I don't care. I'll be home all day. Fine. That
Love it.
helps me with my scheduling. But
Yeah, your quote was amazing. I mean, I don't want to slaughter the first part, but be more terrified of regret. I agree with that,
yeah,
man. It's like too many people live inside their comfort zone. Too many people are afraid to take that step right past fear. And Eric, I'm proud of you, man, and just so proud of the business you built, especially knowing how terrified you were of the paperwork and just proud of you, brother. Couldn't be more proud. And thank you again for letting your story inspire someone else today, man. Thank you so much.
well, and once again, like I said in the beginning, I appreciate the system that you had laid out for us. It's duplicatable. It's easy to follow. Uh, you are there for us, plus the family of LSS
Mm,
uh,
yeah.
members that are there to help out. But it really is. Don't be afraid
Yeah.
to change careers. If I can do it at 63, and like I said, totally different career, nothing to do with this. Printing is as far away from this as possible. But you know, I think I'm good at it, and
Yeah, I would say you're amazing at it. Um, okay, Taff. Well, let me ask you the same question. I mean, let me ask it a different way because you answered that the first interview. Is there anything that you were hesitant about going into business with your spouse? I don't mean personally with them or just business wise, anything, right? There's any hesitation because there might be another LSA who's maybe concerned about bringing their spouse in. Maybe you can help calm their anxiety with maybe bringing their spouse. And so, was anything that you were worried about? Now you're like, why was I worried about that?
And I don't think it was a huge concern for me, but I know a concern would be that you're not going to see your spouse because you both are working this business and you're always on the road. But my question I would say to people is, but when you had regular jobs, guess what? You didn't see them anyway. You saw them at the end of the day, which is what's going to happen here. Except the difference is now you both know where each other are. So you don't have to worry about, oh, they're out there so late, this kind of thing. But you can call each other and talk each other in on the drive back, especially if you're an hour away, because we do that. We'll talk each other in, we'll talk about the signing we just had, but you shouldn't let fear of not seeing each other be the factor of why you didn't start the business. Now, there's people who've paid for this, and with me, they'll go, I'm really scared. And so my thing is, every day that you're scared, you've already invested in the business, but you didn't take action, you're losing money.
All right.
Every single day that you're scared. It don't matter if it was $75 for a signing, but guess what? You just lost $75.
Well, I think you hit on maybe something that some people are concerned about is not be able to see your spouse because you're both, because like, look, I mean, we do 6, 7, 8 o'clock signings. It's pretty standard time for a signing agent. And I think that is probably a concern. Some people are thinking about bringing their spouse in is, I'm not, if we're both doing a 6 o'clock, we're both doing a 7 o'clock, we're not going to see each other. So I thank you for saying, no, you actually do see each other. I think there's other ancillary benefits that outweigh that. But, let me ask you the other question, because I'm just kind of curious. I mean, is there almost like loan signing agent overload where it's almost all business and no personal? But does that not even factor in?
It's not a factor because now we have more freedom because of the loan signing system, because we can take days off. I mean, like this morning, he was out with our son. He didn't have any signings today. And I was with the daughter talking about what was important to her. Or we'll take time off during the middle of the week and we'll go, oh, we're both at home. So we have family time in the middle of the week because it allows us to do that.
You said something. Go on.
My daughter, the other night, we were watching a movie together, which we never got to do before. And she goes, I like having you home. I get to know more about you. So she's,
And she told me that. She said, I didn't know all this about Dad because he was working for somebody else. Because I was always here as the homeschool parent. And so now they're finding more about who he was, how he grew up, things that were interesting to him. And they're like, he's a nerd. And I'm like, yes, he is.
How did you feel when she said that, man? That's a pretty powerful statement.
It was. It took me by surprise, and it made me think back, like how much I gave up for somebody else, building somebody else's dream, doing this. So I'm glad that there's no resentment for that time that I was away, because like I said, we're a very unusual family. We keep very late hours. I don't go to bed till like 1 o'clock. I run on 4 hours sleep a day. And our kids are up pretty late, but that's been their lifestyle because if they wanted to see Daddy, they had to stay up late, so now they get to see me earlier. We still stay up late, but now they get to see me earlier, And,
well, I think, Taff, you said something I think was, I love these interviews because I learn as I go with these. And what you said, which is cool, is, because I thought maybe, I'm trying to think of like some objections I would have if Heather was in the business, right? It might be like almost signing agent overload of like, can we talk about something else? But what I think is the biggest benefit is you're now 2 business owners. If you want to take Thursday off, you do, which me and Heather do not have that flexibility because she has a W-2 job. And so I'm envious of that. I love the fact that you can literally be on Monday at 12. You both can be like, you know what? Let's stop working at 4 today and let's go do this. And the power of being able to control it because you're both independent LSAs is an extreme benefit of being a loan signing agent couple because it gives you that family time or just the time off. And you don't need to, like it just being business owner, you don't need to ask anybody. And I never thought about that.
Well, the other thing is that, like I said earlier, she didn't even want to hear about my bad days after a while because once again, I stayed in that situation, but also she couldn't relate to a press breaking down and me having to fight to fix it and still hit deadlines. and all the other problems that would come up, she couldn't relate to them. Now she can relate to somebody's cat sitting on my paperwork, or the dog with his face between my legs through the whole signing, those kinds of things, So it's not overload because we have fun with it, we have a common ground now, and we both know what each other's going through. So now I can relate to the predicaments that she may find herself in.
I love
Good
it.
and
No,
bad.
that's hilarious. Every single loan signing agent, by the way, laughed about the cat on the paperwork and the dog's snout in your lap and your legs. Every signing agent laughed because I could not tell you. And then how about the move when you're like trying to move your leg under the table and they don't see it, so the dog will get off you, slobbering, and you're just like, why is your head shaking? That is so funny. Look, so let me wrap up. Thank you both so much. I think this inspired other people who are trying to get through their decision of, should I get my spouse in the business? So with that being said, can you both just leave some inspiring words to another person who is thinking about maybe bringing their spouse into the industry? What would anything you would say to them to inspire them to get into the business?
Well, the first thing I'd say is that you will have no greater income potential as a couple than working this business. You will have no greater commonality in your marriage working this business together. And the other thing also is that she's not my boss. She didn't bring me into this business to be her errand boy, to do this. We both have, like she said, our own set of clients. So you want to do that. We work together. We help each other out, because in the end, it all comes together and helps the household. And that's the way that we work. And whatever I can do to help her out and whatever she can do to help me out, that's what we do. So you're in the business together, but you're also working it independently, if you know what I mean. So you just have to have those boundaries. Okay, and respect each other's role in that relationship, and that's the thing.
And Taffy, what words would you leave anybody who's aspiring to be another Wagner's? What would you say to them?
And so what I would say is, for those couples who are heavily thinking about it, whether you have kids or don't have kids, this is the part of you leaving a legacy. This business gives you the opportunity to leave a legacy like you have never even thought of, because your kids could turn around and go, I want to do this part-time. I don't want to have to struggle. I've seen what you guys are doing. I may go to college at a later date, but I want to do this right now in order to help me further whatever the career choice that they've chosen by the time they're 18. And there's absolutely no reason that people should be struggling. I don't think there's any couple out there I think every couple should be doing this, because look at all the houses on your street. Guess what? Some notary closed that house. Look at the commercial buildings. Some notary closed that business, which means there's going to always be business. It might be slow at some time, but guess what? There's going to always be business, because there's going to always be houses and people move from state to state. Jump in. Don't be stopped by fear, because that's something that you create that's false in your own mind.
And
I think you said something that I thought was amazing, and that's the word legacy, and it really is building a family business. And the Wagners are starting their own signing service. You guys are literally building a legacy. Look, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys were vulnerable. You were inspiring. You let people know what is possible. And I hope every couple sees you two as the power loan signing agent couple that you are. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see both you guys at conference.
yeah,
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.